think we're live now. Hi everyone, this is Kate at J-Rank Electric. I am all geared up in PPE. Let's see, I've got a FR, so fire resistant outfit on, jumpsuit, and also my mask here is also fire resistant. So I'm going to take you around and I'll introduce you to some of the tradespeople out here. First up, we have Jeremy.
Hey, good morning everyone.
Hey Jeremy, can you tell us a little bit about how you got into this industry and what your responsibilities are in your role?
Sure. So I graduated high school, took a couple years to get in the apprenticeship. I got in there, went through that whole program, became a journeyman, then eventually became a foreman, ran jobs, pushed crews, eventually did the project manager thing for a while, and now I'm a utility superintendent. And my responsibilities are shifting line crews, utility type work, directional drill crews, making sure the work's getting done correctly and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, awesome. So what's your history? You've done how many different jobs in this industry?
Lots. Like say apprentice to journeyman, all that kind of stuff. I've worked on from inside of buildings to industrial settings to power line work, traffic signals.
What are some of the most interesting jobs that you worked on?
We redid the lighting on the Ambassador Bridge down in Detroit. That was pretty cool. We're way up, close to 400 feet. Worked on the Mackinac Bridge for a bit.
Okay, so we're not going to get that high up in the air today, but we are going to go up in the air. Everyone is watching, and we're going to take the camera up in the air in a bucket truck. You can see it behind here. This arm will extend, and Jeremy, could you take us over?
Yeah, I'll introduce you to Bill.
Hello.
Hey guys.
This is Bill. He's a lineman here at J-Rank Electric. We do have some traffic. We have the cones here marking that this is a construction site. Tell us a little bit about what we're doing here today.
Today we're going to go up and replace a street light. There's a 400 watt light existing, a high pressure sodium, and we're going to replace it with a new LED style light.
Okay. So let's get to it. Let's get in this truck.
Okay, be careful climbing up.
2 hands. Okay, so in order to climb up safely, I'm going to hand the camera off, so bear with us for just a minute.
Right there, Kate.
Mm-hmm. Hand it back to me. Awesome, thank you.
Oh, I should have grabbed it from you. I'll get her clipped in.
All right.
All set?
Yep.
Thanks, Jeremy. Okay, we're all safe. We're clipped in and ready to go up in the air.
All right.
You ready, Kate?
Yep. I'm ready.
One of the keys is to always communicate.
Sure.
That's why I keep asking Kate questions and making sure everybody's ready and on the same page.
Yep.
Would it be better if we left the truck at this angle, or do you want it moved around?
Doesn't matter.
Looks like you can get a pretty good angle from here, right, of me
Yeah.
working? Okay.
So whatever angle you would
Okay.
like for your work.
Okay. I want you to be able to see a little bit too, so. Okay guys, so we de-energized this wire, so we're going to be working on an unenergized secondary voltage, but I'm still going to wear my personal protective equipment. So we have gloves that are rated for 1,000 volts, and we'll be working on a voltage of 120 volts if it was energized. So plenty of protection. So the first thing we do is open the light, and then I'll test voltage to make sure the line is de-energized. voltmeter. I tested for potential. We have 0 volts.
So we're safe. We have no electricity coming up on this end of the light. So, and that is something that without me here, they wouldn't necessarily do, but because I am not a lineman and I am not qualified to work around power, we are taking every precaution to not put anyone near anything that they're not qualified to work on.
That's right.
Safer that way.
So I'll disconnect the wires and I'll still protect the one that would be energized. We treat everything energized at all times in line work. So I'm still going to protect myself like I would if it was energized. It's going to get a little crowded in here, Kate, just so you know.
It's all right.
Okay.
Any comments come through. I'm hoping that's because we are live and just I'm not seeing comments, not that we're not actually live on the internet, so I hope we are.
Hopefully it's going through. Well, we can do it again if not.
Yeah, we'll do another run through.
Right.
So then this light, the difference here is that it's an LED?
Correct. The new light we're putting up is an LED. The other one was a high pressure sodium, so it's just a big light bulb similar to what you'd have in your house.
Okay.
And now these will be a LED, a flat light, much brighter for the size and the amount of power that's used.
Okay. I got a comment and they can see us, so
right.
we're good.
Excellent.
My viewer count wasn't working on my screen and I didn't see any comments, so I'm glad that we are live. Awesome.
Great.
Good to hear.
Cold hands.
We got a good morning from Delta College. Hello.
Good morning, Delta College.
Glad to have you. Hey, if we could get some comments where everyone is tuning in from, that'd be great.
More questions?
And questions, absolutely. If you have questions for us, we'd love to hear them. Bill here is a journeyman lineman, and that means he's gone through an apprenticeship and passed a test, right?
Yes. So it's roughly a 4-year apprenticeship, 7,000 hours on the job training, and then you test roughly every month through your entire apprenticeship. So you're testing constantly as you're in the program.
Okay.
And I've been in the trade about 20 years.
Oh, we've got someone tuning in from Shepherd. Awesome, good to have you.
Cool.
Not too far from our Mount Pleasant location there. So, this work, street lighting work,
Correct.
isn't always done by linemen. This job requires it.
Correct.
What are some of the other things you do other than replacing the older lights with new LEDs?
Yeah, so this is something that, like you said, typically don't do a lot of as linemen, so it's fun to do something different. That's the best thing about our job is there's so many different types of jobs that we can do. Hold on one second. Hey guys, we're in the clear. If you want to turn that light on, you can. So besides lights, we do a lot of construction, putting all new wires in, and our light turned on.
Oh, yep, we've got power. And there it goes.
So, it's all right, we'll fly up. So
because we're here to check this out, Bill's actually going to take us all the way up to the height that this bucket can go.
Which is about 45 feet. So we're going to go up to 45 feet. We are at about 20 feet, so we'll be considerably higher than we just were. Give you guys a good chance to view everything around the area. We're right near Flint Bishop Airport.
You can see behind me, the street is getting smaller, and I'll flip this camera back around. You will probably be able to see, yep, there's the airport and some solar panels on top of the J. Rank Electric Flint office. We got another question here.
Yes.
What's your favorite or the coolest thing you've ever worked on as a lineman?
Probably the coolest thing I've ever worked on was we had a chance to change a pole out along the coast of the Pacific Coast in central California. Okay. And it was about 200 feet above the Pacific Ocean, and just not that it was any in particular job that made it interesting, besides of where we were and how cool of a view it was. So I've had a chance to travel all over the country. I've worked from New York City, Connecticut, all the way to California and down south to Florida, and you can see some really cool things and get a chance to really experience pretty much the whole world in the trade if you want. You can go anywhere in the world to work.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
This view alone is just awesome, and I can only imagine what seeing the ocean from this kind of height and looking out over everything. Oh, we have another question actually.
Okay.
Do you do storm work? Do you go out on storm?
Yes. So it's pretty often that we get our storms here. Obviously, we all know we get pretty good thunderstorms here. So we're on storm a lot here. Plus, we go on storm out of town if a hurricane hits or an ice storm hits. And when we work storm, you work 16 hours a day until the storm's done. So I think the longest storm that I ever worked was maybe 4 weeks. So you work 16 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Wow,
until
for 4 weeks straight?
For 4 weeks straight.
Wow.
Sometimes. So yes,
that is a lot of work. So that's like a hurricane has hit and takes out everything in the area, and you guys are there to rebuild?
Or an ice storm. Yep, ice storms are really bad too. So you get an ice storm in North Carolina, in that area, they hit pretty bad in Ohio. And yeah, I worked, I think, almost 4 weeks straight in North Carolina on an ice storm at one time.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work, but it's also pretty lucrative.
Yes, it's a very, very lucrative trade. So you work a lot of hours. As long as you get your rest when you can and stay focused, like you said, you make good money, so it makes it worth it, And,
yeah.
It's a really good trade for anybody interested in a trade. It'd be great for anybody.
Well, speaking of great for anybody, we can start heading back down, get us out of this wind here.
We'll head down.
But speaking of anybody else, I was just gonna ask, what advice do you have for? And I see we have the same question I was about to ask coming in from the comments. What advice do you have for someone wanting to get into the lineman trade?
I would recommend. There's a lot of colleges now offering classes to kind of get a feel and get an understanding of what you've got going on. So I would recommend people look into that. A lot of courses, or there's a lot of colleges around there offering classes. I know Mod is one. I'm not sure if Delta is, but it's a good way to get started, and at least but it's not necessary that you do that to get in the trade. So I would probably recommend that once you're graduated, you go to your local union, IBEW, whether it's 876 or local 17 in Detroit, and talk to the representative there. They'll give you information on how to get started. You can sign the out-of-work books, and they'll give you recommendations to probably start as a groundman on a line crew, and that's the best way to learn. You can start off as a groundman.
So a groundman is similar to a laborer. However, a lot of them have CDLs, groundman drivers. Sorry, let's get this camera turned here. So it's a role that you can step into without an apprenticeship, and then you learn a little bit about the work and you're around it. You get exposed to what some of the projects are like, so that when you do go into an interview with an apprenticeship board, then they know
option, but it's not necessary, and a lot of colleges are offering it. But if you can get in touch with your local IBEW union, they can give you information on once you're graduated high school. I believe you can get on the books when you're 17 years old. So
Okay.
You might have to be 18 to work, but I believe you can sign the books once you've graduated.
Okay. So we got one more question, and then we'll get on hooked
I'm
here.
ready. Yep.
So is having a CDL good to have before applying, or you get it while working? Okay.
Yes. Once you get in the apprenticeship, they really want you to have it. So if you start as a groundman, it's not necessary. Once you get in the apprenticeship, they really would like you to at least have the testing done. So you can go to the Secretary of State, have all your paper tests done, and you get your permit just like you did when you were driving a car. So you can get a permit without spending the money to get your license. So that's
Awesome.
it's a good thing to have anyway.
Okay. Well, hey, let's climb out of this bucket. I'm gonna hand off the camera once again. So bear with us while we shift around. Here we go. All right, and then.
John hook there.
Yep. Nope.
Got it.
There.
Be careful. Doesn't get slippery too nice. Good deal today.
All right. You can tell I don't do this every day. I'm not as steady going in and out of these trucks as the guys who do. I can take that back from you. Thank you. Here, we'll see someone who knows how to do it doing it. We got a comment from Renee telling us thank you for doing these videos. It is our pleasure. We really enjoy, or I really enjoy getting out here to see some of our work more in
the back of the truck.
Yeah, let's step on.
Yep, let's get out of the road
We
here.
got our safety zone.
All right. We got one more person to talk to here. We've got Mr. Dave Senior. He's got a son named Dave, so I almost called him by his full name there. Dave Senior here. Let's chat a little bit. Let me get my camera situated, okay?
Trimming around power lines, and I thought, well, I seen the line guys at the other end of our building there, and I thought, wow, that looks interesting, and I said, man, I want to try that out. So I applied for a couple of years, and finally I got in there for an interview, and I went to my apprenticeship program there, and became a crew leader, and enjoyed it so much. I retired after 18 years there, and I was off about a year, and I thought, man, I miss that. Right around looking at wires and people doing the line work guys and that, and I said, man, I got to get back into that. So I came back to work for J Rank and been here ever since.
So you did more than 2 decades, and then retired, and then came back to work as a lineman because you missed being around the work.
Yep, and then I got to work with my son, and he's seen it too, and he says, hey man, Dad, I want to be that too. So he jumped over to be a lineman, and he's got 2 more months to go and be a journeyman. And my brother also joined us at the other utility company, and he's now a foreman there. And
So now it's all in the family. You've got 3 linemen.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, hey, if we've got any more questions coming in, I'd love to take them from you and see if we can get them answered here. Let's see if I can get Jeremy back here, talk a little bit more about what some of these projects that the linemen work on are like. Can you tell us a little bit about a regular project or a storm that you've been on?
Yeah, we get a call last minute, you know, often from different utilities from the East Coast of New York to Florida, Texas, and all of a sudden we're going. We've been on hurricanes, quite a few of them. You work 16-hour days, typically, you know, times however many days a week it is till we restore the customers. So we go from that type of work to utility projects for different other energy type companies. It's a huge variety of different types of work. You never know it all. You never get bored with it. You're always learning, which is cool, so it doesn't get stale on you. It's a great income, great group of guys. You know, it's kind of a separate family, you might as well say, because you depend on each other. You know, you have to. This guy's got to take care of you and vice versa. So it's a great thing, great team building. It's been a great trade for my family and others, and I'd recommend it if you have some interest this way.
So you talked about looking out for each other, and that actually is something we haven't talked about today, is what some of the things are that we do specifically to keep ourselves and each other safe on these job sites.
Yeah, I mean, between traffic, you know, like just watching that somebody don't stop in traffic from one end to, typically if you're up working high line, you got 2 linemen up there and you got to depend on each other for each step of the work you're doing. It's just not a one-man process. And then if you had something happen up there, the other person in the bucket with you is trained to do a rescue. Otherwise, if you're on your own up there, you're on your own. So it's very important. You got to know what the next steps are, each of you. You have a plan before we even get in the truck or climb a pole with hooks. It's really a dialed in thing. It's not overly complicated. You just got to be consistent. You know, beyond that, you got to show up every day, be part of the team, part of the plan, and you'll have a successful day and everybody goes home safe.
Okay, we had a question come in from Newberry High School. I don't think it's necessarily for you, Jeremy. I'll take this one. Here, let me get my. There we go. So the question from Linus, or Mr. Parr, actually, he's the building trades teacher at Newberry High School. Shout out Newberry High School. So are there any summer camp programs that we can refer students to that are interested in the electrical trades? You know, I did see an opportunity for some camps this summer about trades. We can pop those in the comments later. I don't know all the details, and we don't offer something like a summer camp, but I have seen something similar. So we can get back to you on that for sure. Another good option is a summer job if it's not out of the realm of possibility. The students can absolutely, 16, 17 years old, get a job for the summer, and we actually have some high school students who have started in our warehouse in the summer, and then they'll work part-time after school or on days off during the school year, and then eventually then do go into the union, and that is a really solid foundation for their career in the trades, because then they get exposed to the different positions that they could have later on, and they can decide which one they want to pursue, and go down that path knowing what they're getting into. So that's a really good option if someone is interested in learning more. There's probably more summer jobs available than there are summer camps focused on the trades. We got a shout out for Mr. Paulus from Suhai. Hello, Suhai. Hi guys. And if you have any more questions for us, get them in here quick. We'll wrap up the video soon here, but I just want to thank the guys out here, Jeremy and Bill and Dave. Thanks so much for talking to us. And I guess if I don't see anything pop up here quick, I will end the video. Thanks everyone for tuning in to Skilled Trades Live. We'll see you next week at 9 a.m. from a water treatment plant, Wednesday at 9 a.m. I should say, water treatment plant in Ann Arbor, where you'll get to see what some of the trades are that work in that facility, and then what J. Rank Electric is doing there too. So that's all I have to say. I will see you next week.